Hello there, my name is Anna Amelia and I'm from Northeast Animal Rights. And today we are delighted to welcome along Annette Wardell, who's a vegan diva, and she is talking to us today for our Saturday Spotlight interviews. So welcome, Annette, and thank you very much for agreeing to do this for us.
Well, I'm really, really happy to be here. Thanks for asking me.
You're very, very welcome. We're going to go straight to the questions if that's okay. And the question which I ask everyone to start us off with is, could you tell us about your vegan journey, please?
Absolutely. Well, I'd always loved animals as a child. So I'd always had lots of guinea pigs and rabbits and all kinds of pets. But I don't think I'd ever really made the connection between the pets that I had at home and the food on my plate. And I think that connection happened as soon as I left home and went away to college down in London when I was 18 to music college. And there, when I was actually cooking my own food, I think then when you're cooking and preparing and buying your food, you do make that connection, don't you? So I went veggie then. And then, you know, it was always a niggle. Eggs and cheese and dairy was always a niggle at the back of my mind. And I just knew deep down that I really didn't want to be consuming those products. And it was about, in fact, it'll be 8 years ago next April that I actually went vegan, and I did it overnight on my boyfriend's birthday, which he never lets me forget. But and it was an overnight thing, and I think as most vegans would agree, I wish I'd done it sooner. But it's it's 8 years, which is not bad, not bad. Yeah.
8 years is kind of before it was trendy and fashionable as well, isn't it? So
Oh, it's changed such a lot, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So I discovered at an early age that I can't sing. Okay, I used to do perform and used to do sort of dancing and stuff like that, like tap dance and ballet and everything.
Right.
I used to do singing as well, and I discovered that I can't sing. So it's always been, I've always been really jealous of people who can sing. So how did you discover, and when did you first discover you could sing, and what made you go down the route of opera and classical music?
Yeah, because it's quite a thing, isn't it? It's quite unusual. We used to go on holiday to my aunties down in Bournemouth, and they had a very old piano, the old ones with the candelabra. And I just started playing little tunes by ear, sat up there with my little legs dangling and playing tunes. And she said to my mum, "You're going to have to send up a piano lessons." Well, of course, we were very working class, didn't have much money, and I'm absolutely positive that my piano teacher, who's still alive, didn't charge us for half the lessons. She was also a singing teacher, and I used to apparently sit and play the piano and sing at the same time. And she thought, "Oh, that's quite a nice voice there. She's got a little voice." So she entered me for local competitions, and I've still got some of the sheet music from when I was like 6 years old. And I think my voice just told me what it wanted to do, because I think even at that young age I sounded like this little opera singer. It was quite a big voice and quite a strong voice, and it already has a kind of a vibrato to it as well. And I didn't know anything. My parents weren't musical in the slightest, so I didn't really know anything about opera. But my music teacher just put the odd opera song aria in front of me to have a look at. I went home and had a listen. And my parents have always been incredibly supportive. So they would be buying me, Hooked on Classics albums for Christmas and things, so that I could at least have a listen to classical music. And then I auditioned for a specialist music school when I was 16. So I went there 16 to 18, and then the Royal College 18 to 22, and then the Royal Northern College to the Opera School for a year after that as well, up in Manchester, which was brilliant.
So from a really, really early age then, but kind of accidental as well. So not deliberate, but just kind of accidental, because you were learning to play the piano as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think I just realized that playing the piano, you had to practice for hours and hours and hours a day. And I think I'm pretty much quite a lazy person, I think, deep down. And I thought, well, you don't get to wear the same kind of dresses and frocks and stuff as a pianist. I think you probably do, but I thought that at the time. So I thought, wow, yes, definitely.
So opera was for me. So opera was kind of calling you, wasn't it?
I think it was, definitely, yeah.
So we've mentioned, obviously, you're a soprano, but I know you also do acting and modelling as well. And as a person, you've got a Cypriot background. You're from Yorkshire, obviously. I can hear that slightly in your accent. It's not very strong, but I can still hear that.
Yeah.
You're vegan as well, so all of these kind of fit together to make you who you are. So how easy is it to promote, all aspects of your background and your lifestyle choices, like the veganism?
I think it's pretty easy, actually. I'm not backwards in coming forwards. I've always been very outspoken about, you know, I believe in being honest and authentic about what I believe in. You know, I'm learning about tact. That's quite a good thing to learn as you get older. But yeah, I mean, Cypriot, I'm born half Greek Cypriot, but I was adopted when I was a little baby. So although I was born in Scarborough, see, my accent's becoming more northern now as I'm talking to another northern person, because I live in London now, so it does kind of rub the edges off a little bit. But yeah, so all my influences were northern and Yorkshire, and in fact I was brought up in the northeast from Teesside. So all my influences have been very northern, and I think it does produce strong women, doesn't it? The North. Yeah. I think we are strong, and we're opinionated, and so I've never found it difficult to you know, to be honest about my views about things, and I think using art as activism. I think as an artist, any kind of artist, but especially as a performing artist, you do have this platform, and it's an incredibly useful platform, and it's a big platform. And whether that means, you know, on my social media channels and my website that I can chat about or my vegan beliefs, that's a form of activism. I'm a soloist with the National Symphony Orchestra, and we always do excuse me, lots of lovely summer outdoor prom concerts. Last year I had some of my vegan happy t-shirts on, and I've got some Viva t-shirts as well with vegan Diva on the front. And in rehearsals they always let the audience in a little bit early. You come off after you've rehearsed your number with the orchestra, and you engage with the audience out there. They want to come and chat to you. They've just heard you sing. They want to come and meet you, which is really lovely. And you know, these things start conversations. Your t-shirt starts conversations. You'll be eating some vegan food, it starts conversations backstage with the orchestra. These are all, I would say, the kind of soft activism, because it's not an in-your-face kind of activism, which, you know, there's room for all kinds of activism. We need all kinds of activism, don't we? But I think this kind of soft activism kind of pulls people in to you, and it gently, you know, makes them think about issues and issues that they might not have thought about before. And I find that a really easy way to generate conversations.
I mean, we've started doing some artivism posts every Thursday. We put a you know, like a piece of poetry out, or some lyrics from a song.
Oh, fantastic!
A video of someone performing. All around animal rights. And we have, you know, a fantastic colleague, Barbara Helen, and Sweet Coast Music as well. They are performing. We've got a festival coming up in May, so we have a backdrop of music within that. So it's kind of like people are listening to and watching animal rights musicians and songwriters perform, and it really is very, very effective. You know, we'll have poets there as well. So it's kind of, I mean, I think people shouldn't underestimate, you know, the impact of arts within activism.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think that being out there with your views as well, I think, is really important, and using music. I mean, I've been collaborating with a vegan restaurant down in Folkestone, Dr. Legumes. We've had some evenings of vegan food, vegan wine, music. There is such a lot of vegan artists out there, and very compassionate artists who really want to engage with audiences and start these conversations. And I think it's an incredible way, because people are enjoying themselves at the same time. You're not kind of, you're engaging in a really fun kind of way and an interesting way, and I think it's really successful. I really do.
I think you're right. It's kind of, if people are at their ease, that you're having good food, and that you know, they have a lovely. I saw the photographs, and they look absolutely amazing from that event you're talking about, Lagoons.
Oh yeah, a few weeks ago.
And I saw obviously Karen Ridges there as well. Oh, yes, Karen's lovely.
Gorgeous.
But it is kind of like that, you know, it's different people who you're going to reach. The people who are going to talk to you about veganism are different to the people, I would suspect, to the people who will talk to me. So it's kind of like trying to engage people in whatever is their area of interest, and kind of like to find the route into veganism.
Absolutely. Food as well, I find, is a great way. Food activism is great, because if you can show that being vegan is so easy. I mean, whatever type of vegan food you eat, whether it's, I mean, I eat, I love to cook, but, I love the odd kind of vegan burger as well, and a big bag of crisps when I'm watching the telly. That's my favorite food in the world, is a crisp butty. So, whatever kind of food you eat as a vegan, to show that it's really delicious and it's easy, and, that it's nutritious as well, if people are into the nutrition as well. I think it's all the same kind of process, isn't it, of engaging people and starting those conversations.
So before you perform, do you have a favorite, how sort of like athletes will have a particular meal which sort of sets them up for their event? Do you have a particular comfort food or something which kind of sets you up for your performances?
You know what, I know so many singers who say, I can't eat before a performance. Oh no, I've got to, I just love my food, and I've got to feel as though I've got something solid in my stomach before I can go on. So, if I don't know that it's going to be food provided, then I'll cook something. I'll take like a rice and vegetable thing, and crisps, always crisps. I'll take some food with me. But I do remember, and actually my boyfriend reminded me of this. He rang me before a gig that I did it was in Southwold, and they've got a gorgeous little theatre at the end of the pier there, and I was performing an opera gala there, and he said, oh, good luck, have a great show tonight. You've eaten something, haven't you? And I said, do you know what, I've just had chips and curry sauce, and it was literally 10 minutes before I was due to go on. And I really pity the other singers. I must have absolutely the curry sauce. But anyway, so I just eat what I fancy eating, and as long as I've had something to eat, I'm happy.
Chips and curry sauce is one of our staples. We love it. We've got a place up here who does perfect curry sauce. It's just gorgeous. And then we go and sit on the seafront and eat them. It's just absolute bliss.
Yeah, and my other half can't understand scraps either. I mean, you've got to have bits and scraps, haven't you, with your chips? I mean, come on.
But we call it batter up here. Do you want batter with that? You call it scraps in Yorkshire.
In Yorkshire, absolutely.
But it's the same thing, isn't it? Yeah,
it's the same thing. You've got to have it. Yeah.
So we mentioned vegan happy as well. So you obviously you face a vegan happy clothing, and and Laurie has been very kind to us over the years. She's supplied quite a few things for our festivals, and Chantel, who was one of our Sab friends, she's also she's one of the faces as well. So that must have been really exciting for you as a person to be like recognized as a face of such a lovely brand.
Oh, such a fantastic brand. Chantel is the age group below me, so she's the one of the faces for that age group. Fantastic. I mean, I saw the competition on Instagram, and I ummed and ahed, and I've got you make some really great friends online. I've got some great vegan friends online, and they all said, oh, go on, you won't lose anything, just have a go. Send your photos in. And of course I was absolutely thrilled, and it is an amazing brand. I'm just going to do a little there we go. Vegan is love. It's one of their fantastic tops. And thrilling, because it again, wearing clothes, as I said, wearing those t-shirts in rehearsals with vegan messages on, it's such a great way, because it's subtle and it's fun, and people will engage with that and be interested. And fantastic. And I've met some amazing people through. I mean, Laurie came down for the event and stayed with us, actually, and we were up till 2:30 in the morning just nattering after the event in Folkestone. It's a great way of connecting, and I've met other types of vegans, because you tend to be in a little bit of a vegan bubble online, and it's really opened out my perspective, like with Chantel. What a voice for the animals, doing her sabbing and her activism and her outreach, and these are all things that I'd never really thought about before, but I'm going to start becoming involved with that side of vegan activism. And we need all those voices, but Vegan Happy do so many great things, and Laurie is amazing. What a fantastic, where she gets her energy from.
I know, she's an absolute powerhouse.
I know, it's incredible. It is incredible. I love her to death, absolutely.
So you must have some very proud moments as a performer then. So can you maybe tell us about one of them? Or is it hard to pick maybe one of them? You must have so many different...
it's hard to pick, because they're all amazing for different reasons. So making my Glyndebourne debut, I think, one of the greatest opera houses in the world. It wasn't a huge role, but it was a principal role, and in Albert Herring, and I loved that. And of course my parents came down for that. Wonderful. I think singing for Elton John was great. Singing for the Royals has been fun. But I think one of my favorite things was singing at the FA Cup final. I mean, you walk out onto the pitch and you've got, like 80,000 people in the stadium. I mean, you don't feel that. You just feel this wall of sound when you walk out. It's incredible. And my other half was there as well, because it was Arsenal were in the final at the time. Sorry, everyone. He is an Arsenal supporter. So he was in the stand as well, and I had his old vintage Arsenal scarf, and we had a couple of bottles of bubbly when we'd sung, and we were sat behind the Arsene Wenger in the dugout, and it was incredible. What an atmosphere! And I think that was like going out to 280 million people live. I think that's what they told us afterwards. I'm glad they didn't tell us that before we walked on the pitch, because I'd have been shaking. But I got to see all the football players, behind the scenes as well. And that was incredible. But so many great moments. I mean, I flew out to sing for, and I don't agree with his politics, but I was flown out to sing for President Bush Senior. But I got to meet him and Barbara Bush, and that was fun as well. I think getting to being behind the scenes with people and getting to meet some people who've shaped the world in whether you agree with the way they've shaped it or not is quite something. So I've enjoyed all of those things.
Sounds absolutely amazing. I bet you've got loads of gossip from behind the scenes.
I couldn't possibly repeat it online, but
maybe later, maybe after
when we stop recording. Do
you have any favorite pieces or favorite composers you like to perform?
Now I'm very lucky, because I started out as a mezzo, which means that I started out being trained as a lower voice, and my top notes weren't discovered until a bit later, so they're pretty fresh still. So I can still do the super duper high stuff, but I've got quite a rich lower range, so it means my repertoire is possibly bigger than a lot of sopranos, not all sopranos, but possibly I've got a wide range. One role I'd love to sing, I do sing the arias, but I'd love to sing Carmen. What a role. I sing Queen of the Night, which is right at the other end of the spectrum, so you do your really squeaky, very high notes up there. It's good to play baddies, because you can really get your teeth into the role. But the roles I'm usually cast in are the kind of the little maids. They're running around the stage a lot, because you won't be able to tell from online, but I'm like 5 feet nothing and teeny tiny. So I was once called the Kylie of opera, because I'm so little, and I did have a very, very small pair of shorts on for this particular production as well. It was at Covent Garden Festival, which was a lot of fun. So those roles I usually get cast in, and they're the comedy roles, and I think it suits my personality, because I love having fun. Above everything else, I love having fun. So I love doing those roles. But I think I would, if I could choose, I'd like to sing Carmen, I think, and really get my teeth into that. But I don't think my voice is heavy enough. It hasn't got the weight in it. So sadly.
The music from Carmen, I mean, obviously it's very, very well known, and it's one which I know as well. And it is absolutely beautiful.
Gorgeous.
And I've seen Madame Butterfly as well. I've seen the opera version of Madame Butterfly, which is just absolutely kind of like, I mean, I'm incredible. I have no idea about opera. I just kind of like know kind of like what I like and what I understand. But those ones are just the ones where you kind of sit there and you can feel like the shivers go down your spine, because the music is just so emotional, just grabs you. It's just amazing.
It does. And I don't think I think as long as you have a general kind of idea of what's going on the stage, even if it's in a foreign language, I think the music speaks, doesn't it? Because you don't need to understand Italian to be able to sit there and listen to Madame Butterfly, because you know what's happening and you can feel the emotion on the stage as well. And I think opera is just, I mean, what's not to love about it? I mean, you talk about Carmen. So I think about Carmen. It's my favorite, one of my favorite operas. I love the Mozarts as well, but Carmen, you've got the passion, you've got the sex, you've got the you've got the jealousy, and then you've got murder at the end of it. I mean, you've got every emotion there on the stage. What a story. And I always say to people, if they're not sure about opera, I say, well, it's was the pop music of its day. It was written for the working classes in the main, and a lot of the people who sing it now are working class. It's not elitist. I think some places would like it to be elitist, but it really isn't. I think it's so accessible for everybody. Just think of the passion in it,
So what's next for you then? I mean, you sound as if you're just permanently busy.
Uh, you know what? Not all the time. I've got some nice downtime at the moment, which is great. But actually, I've got a couple of really great events coming up. One of them is vegan jam. I've got to mention vegan jam
Yeah, I've heard of that.
because that's Laurie with
Yeah,
Vegan Happy Clothing. She's put together a weekend, 28th and 29th of September at Hopefield Animal Sanctuary, which is such a wonderful place. And that's going to be a weekend of music and talks and fantastic vegan food. All the money and all the profits going to animal charities. And so come along for that. I'm going to be singing at that.
right.
Chantel's going to be speaking as well. And I think I think the runner-up in our age group, Lynette, is going to be DJing as well and spinning some tunes. So that's going to be great. And before that, I've got a really nice event for a wonderful charity called Saving Strays. And that's going to be at Berghouse in London. So I appreciate not everyone can get to London. But if you're in the area, that's on the 26th of May. And I'm going to be a guest of Rick Wakeman, who is a patron of the charity. So I get to meet Rick, hopefully, and do some singing there. And again, that's all to raise funds. And I do believe we are going to have some doggy guests for that one as well. So that's going to be really great fun. So come along to that. I'll pop all this up on my website.
Yeah, sounds absolutely amazing. So we're coming to the end of our time together. Unfortunately, it's just the time has just flown.
It has. It's been brilliant.
It's been an absolute privilege to talk to you today. We really appreciate it. We will be putting some information out with obviously as well, so people can check out, who you are, what you're doing, where you're up to, where you're going, and everything. So people can actually see you live, because obviously that's what we want to do. We want to get more people to appreciate, opera, and appreciate the fact that you're a vegan soprano, vegan diva. And we need more people like you as well.
Oh, well, fantastic. It's been so great to chat. Thanks ever so much for asking me. It's been brilliant.
You're very, very welcome. So I'm going to sign off now. So this is Anna Amelia saying thank you very much to Annette, Wardell, the vegan diva, for joining us today. We hope you enjoy this interview, and goodbye for now.